Welcome to SoCal Dram Tram. I'm Matt.
And I'm Cesar.
Today we got another review for you. But before we get to that, we just want to say, hey, thanks for sticking around. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out. And everybody, don't forget to smash the like button and hit the bell for notifications. That way you know when we drop a new review. But today we got another review. And Cesar, what do we got on the board?
Today we got something from your boar.
That's right, boar. Boar today, because we from New York. No. Nonetheless, we got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B520. Hit it. So, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B520. That's right. So we've reviewed another Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's right up here. We reviewed the C919 batch. But this one is the bottle that everybody's saying it's better than C19. And so Cesar and I were huge fans of C919.
Huge. Still are.
We both really like it. We both have our own bottles. Yep. I told myself when we started this that I wasn't going to be part of the Elijah Craig fanboys that gets every single barrel proof release. And, well, I've only missed one bottle since the C919 came out. But nonetheless, I'm excited to get into this bottle because everybody's saying that this is really giving C919 a run for its money. We have had the neck pour of this, and I'll tell you, it's something that's really interesting. And we're going to do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison a little bit later on to kind of give you our general thoughts on it. Not going to go too deep into that, but we are going to get you for the full review for this guy right here. What are your initial thoughts on this guy before we even get rolling, Cesar?
Elijah Craig, definitely, from their basic stuff to their barrel-proof C919, both of them have been consistently really good. So I expect nothing but goodness if the last two are 2 for 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I love Elijah Craig small batch for sure. And again, you can check that one up here. We did that as part of our budget whiskey month. If you haven't checked that out, be sure you check it out. Give some views to that playlist. We spent some time on that. We appreciate it. But nonetheless, the point is that we are both Elijah Craig fans. I have always said that Elijah Craig makes anything better when it comes to cocktails, eggnog, whatever the case may be. Their regular small batch bourbon is a staple on my bar. I think I've got a handle of it right now. And their barrel proof series is 12-year age statement. And again, it's going to be a little bit higher proof. Now, the C919 was presenting itself as close to 67% ABV, if I remember correctly. The B520 is actually going at 63%. So it's coming a little bit softer, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. No, we're cruising anywhere from like 3 to 5. 3 to 5. 3 to 5%, because the other one was 67%.
Oh, 67, okay.
Yeah, so, you know, math. But, like I said, we have cracked the neck pour on this, on some of that sexy B-roll footage that you saw. But I'm excited to get into this. So, I mean, let's get into it. Before we get into the whiskey, though, let's talk about our coins. Today, I'm going to be using a It's Bourbon Night coin. Shout out to Chad and Sarah. You guys are amazing. They're kind of like, in my opinion, they're like mom and dad of the whiskey world. But not like mom and dad that you're trying to hide the whiskey from. Like, you want to bring them in. They're the ones that'll buy you bottles. But you also want to go on trips of them, too, because they're great. Chad and Sarah, you guys are amazing. Who are you using today?
I'm using one of my highest quality bourbon coins. Look at that shine.
It makes lightsaber noises? I am your father.
And for my coaster coin, I'm using my...
It appears on the video.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, on the nose, for me, and I said it a little bit earlier when we tried it, right on the neck pour, it's super citrusy.
Citrus?
Like, it's super orange peel, almost a little bit of lemon, definitely more towards the orange factor, but definitely heavy citrus notes.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
No, I'm definitely getting citrus. I'm getting, to be honest, even though we just cracked the neck pour, this is a lot sweeter notes also than the first time around. Versus the first time around.
Absolutely. I mean, when we first cracked it all of an hour ago, excuse me, both of us were kind of like, you know, hey, It's definitely sweeter, but I think that's just due to the lower proof, right? And granted, we're kind of splitting hairs here between 67 and 63, but it's still there. Like, it's not like, hey, you know, I'm here to party like C919 was, but this is definitely no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. This is kind of like the guy who's like sitting in the corner while everybody else is partying, and he's like, I can drink every single one of you under the table. But yeah, the nose on this, heavy citrus notes for me. I still get a little bit of chocolate in here though. And
yeah, I get some of that cocoa.
It's definitely like bitter baker's chocolate,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Not like, you know, like getting a Hershey bar, but like it's definitely like cooking chocolate. Like I'm going to melt it and turn it into a ganache or something like that. It's definitely something that's got a little bit more bitter sweet notes to it. Have you tried it yet?
No, I have not. The heat's coming up.
I was going to say, now that we have 20 seconds of dead time. Oh, man. Okay, so on the initial sip, it definitely feels like it got hotter from the neck pour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not hot like, oh my gosh, this is out to hurt me. This is like, people talk about the Kentucky hug, right? People talk about the, you know, the fact that like when you drink a high proof bourbon, that your chest just feels super warm, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Even the C919, and I've got some other high proof stuff here. I don't know if I have felt that as effectively as this one presents itself as, right? This is like, you know, when you see that friend that you haven't seen for a very long time. I'm not talking like, you know, a couple of days. I'm talking months, if not years. They moved away and you just miss them real bad. You're Zoom calling them, but everybody's Zoom calling these days. And you finally get to see them after a very long time and you just embrace them. That's this Kentucky hug for me. This is like, I feel it from my shoulders down to my gut. This is nice. I really enjoy it. What are you getting?
It's nice, and it's definitely a little bit like, although I mean, it does taste hotter than, or more alcoholic than the neck pour, which is, you know, which is a change. But the C919, I distinctly love this so much because although it was so like alcoholic-y and like burned your throat all the way down, I got nothing but Reese's peanut butter cup, like a fresh Reese's peanut butter cup. Just bam, you take a bite. That's what it tastes like, except if it burned on the way down. Where this, although even though it's lighter in alcohol, I don't think is as sweet as the other one. So because of that, I actually think this does still taste like peanut butter. It almost tastes like peanut butter Cocoa Puffs, right? Yeah. But like not to that normal level. So those of you at home that are like, oh, I have peanut butter Cocoa Puffs. Is that what it is? No, nowhere near that. No. It's died down at like a like more bitter, more natural flavor, not overloaded with sugar. So think of the peanut butter Cocoa Puffs with like, you know, 15% sugar, and that's what you're getting out of this.
Yeah, it's not overly sweet. Like I said, with the baker's chocolate, it's more bittersweet, almost like a not that I'm picking up the note of it, but like the same consistency and bitterness as coffee, right? Just black coffee, like that bitterness, that quality to it. Yep. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Yep. But again, those notes that I got on the nose of that citrus is just so heavily influenced here. Like it's a chocolate covered orange, like that chocolate covered orange candy that you get during the holidays. Or at least maybe I was the only kid that got those when I was younger. But super heavily influenced with that like bitter dark chocolate and that orange. Get a little bit of that peanut butter note that you're talking about. And it's interesting. You were talking kind of about like the Cocoa Puffs, right?
Yeah.
And when you talk about cereal, like it makes me think of like grain and malts and things like that. And this is 12 years, but you can taste the grain influence in here. I don't know what the mash bill is on this. I didn't look that up. Sorry. But you can definitely get a little bit more of that grainy quality. Not that it's like a texture thing, but like you can taste it. Yeah. In the way like our Waterford review kind of was talking about, where you can taste the barley and stuff. Yep. That's kind of interesting that you're kind of getting this in here. And maybe that's just a testament to the fact that, I mean, let's be honest, right? This is review, I don't even know, over 30 at this point, pushing 40. Maybe our palates are just developing where we can start to taste those different influences. Because, you know, when we drink bourbon and stuff, we get a lot of similar influences. But, you know, we're pushing on a year here. And we're starting to develop a little bit 100%. More of a, you know, fine-tooth palate. Not that we're great, but hey.
Folks, I mean, with as consistently as we have been doing this, it's kind of like gymnastics, right? Like your first week, you can't even do the splits, but if you do it
still can't do the splits.
but if you do it more consistently, then you get more acrobatic, and you can do a lot more stuff because of how much you're doing it. So same goes with this in our palate. Like we're consistently at least once a week at minimum, maybe twice a week, are drinking this stuff, so our palate's getting slowly more developed. So for those of you at home, that's kind of what I recommend too. Find something you like and then go with that, every weekend or whatever, once a week, just to develop a palate. I'm not saying get drunk like I like to do, 4-finger pours, but but do little 2-finger pours just so you gradually get used to it. Once it's the disgustingness of it goes away, you're going to get a lot of the good flavors that we're actually talking about.
Yeah, I think there's a certain element of truth to that, right? Where just 2 points real quick. If you are drinking and stuff like that, that's okay, but also don't overdo it, because that's not what this is about, right? Especially when if you're here, your chances are, more likely than not, you're looking for, whose palate do I identify with? Do I identify with Cesar? Do I identify with Cesar? Or do I identify with somebody else? And that's okay.
You said Cesar twice,
Did I say Cesar?
Yeah,
okay. Do I identify with Matt? Do I identify with Cesar? Whoever, right? We're not going to cut that out. We're just going to leave it in. But nonetheless, the point is that you're here because you want to explore. But to everybody else who's just like, hey, I heard about this Elijah Craig thing and I want to pick it up, and then you lo and behold, ended up with a bottle of Barrel Proof, don't not respect this whiskey, because it'll slap you around if you're not ready for it. But I mean, the point is like, it's all drinking in moderation, right? I think that's kind of a thing where we're crossing that threshold, whether we realize it or not, where it's less about the, let's drink whiskey, and more about the, holy crap, this is different from bottle to bottle.
Exactly.
And that's super important, and there's things you can do to reset and stuff like that. So I just dropped some water on this, and I know that we're going to compare in a little bit here to the C919, but I did just drop some water on this. Haven't nosed it yet. Have you put any water on it yet?
I did, actually.
Ooh, mellow.
Oh, bro, that brought it down. Very nice.
So how many drops you put in?
So I only put 3, but...
So I put 5. It's a higher proof, so I usually put 5 at that point.
The thing is, at the forefront, right away, smoother. It's like easier drinking. It's sweeter too. But the finish, it brings out that pepper note that we kind of don't like, that when the water comes. But at least for me, what did it do for you?
The nose is sweeter, for sure. Ooh, yeah. No, pepper finish.
Yeah.
Absolutely pepper finish.
Heavy pepper finish.
But it's interesting, right? It's not all pepper.
No.
It's definitely pepper predominant. It's slapping you around with it. But that citrus quality stays with it. Mm-hmm. Like it's I guess the easiest way I can explain it is because I just recently did it, where like, you ever marinate a steak and you use like a lemon-based marinade, but you also still have pepper in there, so you get this lemon pepper like amazingness. It's got that same quality to the finish. I will say, and granted, I haven't had C919 with water in a long time.
Same.
I think I'm going to end up liking C919 with water better, but we'll see how it holds up neat. But I mean, we keep talking about it. What do you say we try it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We'll catch you in a minute. Or you got more?
I was just gonna say, folks, at the forefront with water, at the front, the first sip and the first couple seconds, I think tastes way better with water than without water. But then it's just that finish that adds this sprinkle of pepper, where I personally don't like the pepper taste, and it's like, that's where it kind of kills it. But initially, the first couple seconds, I think, are way better than with water than without water.
I tell you, normally bourbons don't do. I don't know, whiskey in general, but particularly bourbons, when we drop water in it, the finish almost 9 times out of 10 seems to die, right? Yeah. And granted, this is higher proof, so there's something to be said about that.
Exactly.
But the finish is still going. But you're right. I think with water, it definitely sweetens up the front end of the palate quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's more like candied orange, like hard candied orange. Remember those fruit candies that you get from like grandma? Or is that like a white people thing?
Or you mean those the strawberry wrapper thing that no one ever touches?
I touch them all the time. Fat kid.
I hate it when you get to the middle and it's like actual gummy strawberry. It's like, oh no!
What have I done?
Yeah.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about this. So let's go ahead and pull out the C919 and see what we think.
C919.
Hey, we got 2 bottles. You know that because we told you we were going to do it. So this is Elijah Craig's C919 barrel proof. This came out in latter half of last year. So this was, I think, like September-ish, although I wasn't able to get it till December. But this guy rings in at 68.4. And we did a quick little math here, and the cumulative total here is about 140%. So wish us luck, I guess.
And it is about 5% more, so I was right the first time.
Well, you said 15.
I said
You're going to
5?
bust my chops on
5?
that. I said Cesar and Cesar. I'm going to bust your chops here. You said 15.
I said 5, then 50.
This is the part of the show where Matt and Cesar yell at each other. Okay, so we got B520 in the Dram Tram glasses, and we got C919 in our other glass.
Yep.
My glass that I'm using here, I don't have a coin that I'm using for it, but I am using my I Love You 3000 glass. This is from my wife. You probably can't see it, so this is null and void. I'm a big comic book guy. I'm a big Avengers fan, and so when Endgame came out last year, this was part of my Christmas gift. It made me cry because I was like, oh, this is sweet, but also Tony Stark, roll a tear. Nonetheless, you're using a blank glass. You have no fun story to tell.
I don't.
Okay. So, how do you want to do this? You want to go B520 first or C919? We didn't even plan this at all. We just decided we were going to do it.
I think since we only have very little left of this B5, probably just kill this.
Yeah,
and
let's
then really,
figure this out, right?
Really let it.
So, again, as far as barrel strength, cast strength, whatever you want to call it, right? High proof, it's easy, right? It's not out to hurt me. It's not going to kill me. I think if somebody's wanting to experiment with higher proof, not necessarily that I would give them this right off the bat. However, I think this is something that even whiskey novices might really enjoy.
Yeah.
What are your final kind of thoughts on that as we get into C919?
It's good, and to be honest, I just want to get into this comparison because I
it's the first for us too.
I was like, I pretty much said what I had to say about this one, and now that I have it fresh on my palate, I want to see that comparison.
Now we should mention we're not cleansing our palates, right? We're not going to do some sort of crazy like let's reset, let's smell coffee beans or drink water or anything. Like I did a quick little arm. Oh, he's loving it. Go ahead and talk to me. What do you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you C919.
I bring to you C919.
We bring to you C919. Dude, oh my God, C919, folks, is I'm sorry to say it's a way better batch, Not only is it higher in alcohol proof, and right now at this point, because of how much is aired out, it doesn't even taste as spicy as this guy. So it's 5% more in alcohol. Doesn't taste as strong as something lower.
Well, hold on. Before you get into too much, it is halfway through the bottle.
That's what I said. Yeah. It is halfway through the bottle, but it still tastes, or as of right now, it tastes lighter.
It's still a respectable proof.
But more importantly, the sweetness is just, it's still flush with the Reese's peanut butter cup for me. Like, just smooth landing all the way through. Like, if you see these side by side, I would no doubt go with the C919 like every day. So I'm gonna give this a fair shake, right? Where C919, it's had some life to it for sure, and we've drank a little bit of this. I've done some fun things with this one in terms of just like home projects and whatnot, some blend-agains and stuff like that. It's funny. I don't want to say it's better than B520 because. Better. Yes, but at the same time, this is how close to the neck pour. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's true too.
I think in a few months.
But I remember having this at that close, and it was still
crazy good. Absolutely. I think once this starts to level out to the same C919, and I mean, yes, it does look like I hit this all that often, but the reality is an ounce of this has gone into a blend again, and 2 ounces of this went to a sample. So I mean, I haven't hit this all that often. Yeah. So I think, say 6-7 months down the road, when we kind of get this to the same point, we're going to have to revisit this, whether it's, on a review or a live show, whatever the case may be, right? Whatever we're at in 6 months, if we're all still here, who knows, the world may be on fire by then. I think it'll be a fun one to revisit, but just right off the bat, C919 takes it for me. I think you said it best with the peanut butter cup note, right? It's definitely something that is just absolutely delicious. Not sickly, cavity-inducing sweet. But if you gave me them in a blind pour, I don't know if I would necessarily pick C919 over B520. So that's just to say that, hey, they're both contenders, but if I know what they are, I think I'm going C919 every day of the week. Yep. Where are you? Is that your kind of final thoughts as well?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, like, I agree with you. I am almost positive this will get better too. However, since we had this at this level and this still blew this away at that level, that's why I think I would still go with the C9 at the end of the day. So this is definitely going to get better. I'm not disagreeing.
But again, I'll say, not bad. Different.
Oh yeah.
Not bad, different. This, I get no citrus out of this, and I get citrus out of this.
To be honest, that also kind of excites me too, because it for sure lets you know that no batch of the same, cask strength is the same. You know what I mean? So just because you had Billy, Uncle Billy, that had a cask strength 20 years ago of this specific brand, and he said you got to try it. That thing you're gonna try is gonna taste different than Uncle Billy's, but it could be better, it could be worse. So I'm glad that it's not consistent. So that way we have something more to look forward to as well.
On that same note, and we're gonna wrap it up here shortly. We know this video is going a little long. The one thing I'll say is, if you are looking for justification for buying separate batches, they're different. They're very much different.
Yeah.
It's just depending on what your flavor profile is. If you like more citrus fruits, go with B520. If you like more candy sweet, go with C919. If you can still find it, it's still out there for sure, because this is definitely released, in batches throughout the year. Mm-hmm. Some people are only just now seeing C919, so B520 is still a ways off. I was fortunate enough to pick this up last week in Huntington, so I was really happy. But nonetheless, if I have to score this, right, for B520 specifically, we're going to go ahead and get C919.
Yeah.
But B520 specifically, I'm going 4. I paid $70 for this, so a little bit above MSRP, UMRP, whatever it's called. I work retail.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're talking about.
But I would say that this is a solid 4. I think the value is there for sure. I think the flavor profile is great, and I think if you are just getting introduced to high proof bourbons, this is something that you would enjoy without it hurting you severely. And I will say, the Kentucky hug on this one is much more delightful than on the C919.
Oh yeah.
Where are you at?
So for me, this is gonna be a 3. It's gonna be a 3 because I know what Craig can do, and and this didn't live up.
It's Friday. You ain't got no job. You got shit to do.
No, but this I was really hyped up for, and it didn't meet. But then again, that's also because, any consumer, right? You have something good, you always expect the next to be better, which is why you want to try the next. But although this wasn't as good as that one, it's definitely better than most cask strength bourbons I've had. So it's still good, and I'd still buy it again. But as far as this batch goes, I'm rated at 3 because I know Craig can do better. Come on, Craig.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this holiday season releases for the C batch for sure. Yep. Well, it's a 4 from me. It's a 3 from Cesar. Do us a favor. Hit us up in the comments. Have you had B520? Have you had C919? Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. Have you had another batch that you think we could seek out? There are some in our area that I'm always debating on picking up. I'm seeing some from 2018. I even saw one from 2017, but we'll see. But nonetheless, guys, if you haven't already, follow us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SoCal Dram Tram. We love interacting with you guys there. We love interacting with you guys down here. Cesar, you got anything else you want to add?
Nah, what about you, Matt?
Stay safe. Drink well, guys. All aboard. Catch you next time. Hey everybody, hope you liked that video.
Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications.
And don't forget to subscribe.